the man, baby. That's what I am. I'm a straight shooter with a master plan. I'm the man, baby. That's why I'm here.
When guys walk, sit, or stand, they tend to take up as much space as possible. Baggy clothes hide curves. Remember that. And another thing is that I've noticed this. The times that I have worn, even when I wasn't passing at all, the times when I have worn ties or a baseball cap, I got sirred automatically. So I guess those are two items of clothing or accessories that will definitely help. When it comes to lowering your voice, it's important to remember, even if you are pre-T, there are ways that you can fool people. One of them is when guys talk, they tend to have more of a flat, monotone sounding voice. Whereas when girls talk, they tend to go up at the end of their sentences and make everything just sound so much more bubbly. Guys' speech tends to be kind of like this, whereas girls kind of goes like this. So I guess I've noticed with myself, when I get more enthusiastic about things, my voice tends to go up. So maybe just try and talk as flat as possible. Like I said, even if you are pre-T, there are ways of sort of, some people are better at it than others. Some people are just born with naturally ridiculously high voices, and I feel really bad for them. Mine was one of those voices. It was just so feminine that I couldn't escape it. Another thing is, well, just basically the way you say your words. I can't even really explain it anymore because it comes natural to me, but I remember I struggled with it for the longest time. Listen to other guys talk and just sort of copy the way that they're saying their words. Preferably somebody who has the same accent as you, otherwise it's going to sound really funny. Another thing is, even if you don't have a super deep voice, you can try and add a little bit of gravel to it just by going as low as you possibly can. And you know that creepy sound from The Grudge? Yeah, this one. Don't just do that. Try to add a little bit of that while you're talking. It's kind of hard to explain how to do it, but if you can do that, it might trick some people. If you are pre-T, there are some tips and tricks you can use to make it look like you have facial hair. Two in particular. The first one being glue hair to your face. I know it sounds kind of silly, but if you do it right, it can actually look pretty realistic. A lot of drag kings use this trick. I teach you some of the other ways of making it look like you have facial hair, like for drag, but honestly, that's for the stage. This is real life, right? So you gotta make it look as real as possible. So I'll leave the stipple sponge and the face paint and the eyeliner out of it for now. Basically, I have a bag full of my hair. I don't need to use it anymore because I actually grow facial hair. But what I used to do was you get some hair, whether it be crepe hair that you can buy at a costume shop or something like that, or your own hair, or somebody else's, whatever. Cut it up into small little pieces, and then take a bit of eyelash glue and just glue it to the parts of your face that you want it on, and just dab it on top. And yeah, there are techniques to it, but I'm not really going to get into that because honestly I'm not that good at it anyways. But you might be able to find some other tips online. You know, now that I've given you that little tip, you might be able to go out and search and see if there's like a special technique to applying it or whatever. The other thing is, if you have a little bit of light facial hair, a lot of you out there do, you can take a dark brown mascara, well in my case, dark brown mascara. You blonde guys, I suppose brown can work as well. I might be able to find a lighter color, I'm not sure. But because my hair is brown naturally, this works for me just fine. It's a dark brown mascara and it's waterproof. You want to make sure that it's waterproof because otherwise you're going to end up with a big old mess all over your face and it's not going to look real. What you do is you take the mascara and just like you would do with your eyelashes, some of you have never actually done that, but you just take it and you just sort of go over your hair and it darkens it and makes it look a lot more realistic. For you guys that are already on tea and growing facial hair, here's a couple of tips for you. First of all, remember this one rule. And I know that some people have said it was a myth, but it's actually not, because I've discovered it for myself. And that is, the more you shave, the faster it grows, and the thicker it will grow in. So, ideally, you want to keep shaving if you want to achieve a lot of growth. Otherwise, if you just leave what little bit you've got, well, it's great, and I know you probably don't want to part with it, but if you shave, you'll have more in the long run. Another thing, and I can't stress this enough, do not, and I repeat, do not use a cheapy two-blade razor. It will feel like it's ripping your face off, and it just doesn't do the job. Trust me. What you want to use is something a little bit more expensive. I know that they're pricey, but this one works best for me. It's the Gillette Fusion, not the Power one. That's actually a rip-off, a waste of money. This one you can get for a couple dollars cheaper, and it's pretty much the same thing without the vibration. It's got 5 blades on it, and it makes for a pretty smooth shave. I quite like it. Once you're on tea, you'll begin to sweat a lot differently and a lot more often. So it's really important to shower at least once a day to prevent yourself from smelling really bad. Use a good body wash. Axe, I suppose, works, but it's a little strong. Old Spice, High Endurance. I sound like a freaking commercial, but seriously, it's been the best one for me so far. Everybody's different, but it's got a subtle smell to it, and it cleans you up nice. And you also need a really good deodorant. Your deodorants that you used before aren't going to be strong enough, so you need to use something with a lot of power. The only thing that works for me is the Old Spice Red Zone stuff. Everybody's different, like I said, but this is the one that's worked best for me. Something really, really strong is what you need, because you can't just be using, like, basically you need an antiperspirant. Antiperspirant and deodorant are two completely different things. Antiperspirant kind of blocks out the sweat a bit. Deodorant just covers up the smell. So what do you think is better? And wash your feet, because if you don't, they are going to smell like nobody's business. And always wear clean socks. I honestly don't really know how to answer this week's question. There was just a whole bunch of questions in there, really, and I don't know, I guess I didn't really realize that I was trans or that I felt like a boy until I was in my prepubescent to, you know, early teen years, so I didn't really show any signs of anything, and I was just a normal kid, fairly happy considering I dealt with a lot of parental abuse, but, you know, didn't really think about it. You know, I didn't know the difference between boy or girl. You know, all I knew was that we were all people.
You stole off the stage, had red and purple lipstick all over the page. Bruises cover your arms, shaking in the fingers with a bottle in your palm and the bestest. No one knows who you are, just another girl.